Have you been wondering whether or not you can use your superannuation as a home deposit? Yeah, there's been a bit of talk around lately, especially among the politicians trying to help us out. But unfortunately, as things generally go with politicians, they often ended up shooting themselves in the foot. Well, this particular one is something that you cannot do at the present time. You cannot use your superannuation for a home deposit. I suppose the idea first came up with regard to the First Home Savers account, which operates very much like superannuation with a similar tax concession. But it does have a lot of problems associated with it, and it really isn't the best approach to take either, with the many limitations that it has. But with regard to superannuation, using superannuation for a home deposit, generally not a good idea regardless. As you think about it, first off, if they were to institute something like that, it would tend to have a very damaging impact, at least for people trying to get into properties on the markets, in that home prices would just immediately get pushed up with the additional funds being available for people to buy them. That's just how it works. So while you'd end up being able to use some of your super for a deposit, the prices go up and you'd end up being basically in the same sort of position. But in particular as well, there's also a problem with regard to your future. You need that superannuation to retire on. Now, one person I discussed with this recently suggested that they had plenty of super because with their employer, they're required to contribute extra. Their employer contributed extra, they add to that. And the feeling was there's just so much money going into superannuation, we don't really need it all anyway, so it'd be great if we could use that for a home deposit. Well, in some situations that might be the case, but in general, people are actually going to come far short of what they ought to do with super, and if you're having to put extra into it, you're really just doing what you ought to be doing anyway. I've seen so many people that have had superannuation and they're retiring now, and they just simply do not have enough. So let's just put this whole matter to rest at the moment. There are ways to get into that first home that don't require dipping into your superannuation, and we'll discuss those with you in a further video. I trust that this has been helpful to you. I'm James Massey from Grace Financial Services. If you do have any questions, do not hesitate to drop me an email or give me a phone call. The number here is area code 02-4905-0250.